Hey everybody, Josh RV Nerd here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan, and I'm really excited because I think this is the first time I've ever been able to record this RV when it hasn't been like 15 degrees and snowing. Now it's chilly, but I'll take chilly. And this thing right here, it's not an RV. This is an entire residential floor plan that you get to tow and park wherever you want it, whenever you want it. Or you could just give us a call and we could deliver this thing out and drop it off for you sometime. It is the Montana 377 front living. It is a, as the name indicated, front living room, but rear master bed, of course, but with an upper, like, attic or loft or whatever you want it to be. And that's what's really cool about this one. I really look at this as an alternative to a mid-bunk. Mid-bunks are neat, but the living room's always in the back. This is a really cool front living room that brings a lot of benefits of a mid-bunk. And by that, what I mean is most bunk models don't have enough seating space for all the people that you can sleep in it. It's kind of stupid. It doesn't make sense. They often have kind of crappy kitchens. Not this one. This is a front living room all the way through, has all the seating, all the entertainment space, all the rainy day, you're going to love it in here kind of space. It just happens to have this extra little loft that you could sleep some people, but it is, I don't know that I even really consider it a bunkhouse. It could definitely just be a loft attic space. There's a lot of cool factors on this. Like, of course, with the Montana, they are the single most successful maker of luxury fifth wheels for like, I don't know, 20, 23 straight years, some absurd number like that. Hot, cold camp rated, full-time RVing warranty. It actually, get this thing has like an electric and a propane heating system. This is awesome. But I will tell you the good with the bad as we go. I've already spoken enough, though. We need to get ourselves rolling. I get excited. I'm doing it now. Let's roll. Sorry. And before we get too far along today, I want to take a quick moment to dedicate this video to my friend Mr. Scott Michelle and his little buddy Ryan. Scott is a dad who bought one of these 377s from us here at our facility and had us deliver it way out to him out east. His son Ryan loves that big loft area, but they have all the living space where they get to spend a rainy day and get to have that father-son memory kind of building bonding time. And it's one of those times where a client just kind of transcended things and really became a friend. So Scott, Ryan, this one's for you guys. And the thing with this model, there's so much to cover here. There's just no way I could hit it all in one video. This could be 2 hours long and I still couldn't get everything. It has everything. This thing is loaded. Like up top here, we have ourselves a 12-volt ceiling vent fan, which is a very unconventional thing most RV manufacturers don't do. Most are 110 only. And then right next to it, you see another 12-volt fan, that big Max Air rain censoring vent fan. We'll see another one of those in the bathroom, although the bathroom one is optional. And look at all the lighting. It looks like air traffic controller lighting directing us up here, you know, like Roger Tower. We are cleared for front living. Over. The entry door over here, I like the frosty glass. If you're not going to put a shade in the entry door, I prefer frosty glass to maintain privacy. I still get the light. I can still peek out the like kitchen window or any of the front living room windows, of which there's only 117 of them, and see who's here and who's around. On our way up, one thing I want to point out here, all of the like walkable flooring in this is all carpetless. And you still have that handy centralized vacuum system right there. Really, one of the only things that kind of surprised me is just that one window right there doesn't open for airflow. But that's like about the only picky point of criticism I have anywhere in this thing. So first of all, let me just kind of give you a an overall tour of everything up here. And again, that one window kind of shocks me because its mate over here on the right next to the theater seat, that does open for airflow. But notice how all of the windows on the backs and both sides of that hide-a-bed all open up as well. Really, the only thing up here that doesn't is just the windshield, and I'm not really sure I would want a windshield to open in case the latch failed and that thing turned into a sailboat going down the street. Now, what's cool about this one? It's a rear master bed. This is a fine singles or couples camper. But we've got these dual opposing hide-a-beds that turn into the mega bunk up front here. And that is pretty awesome because that, in conjunction with the loft, allows this thing to sleep like 4, 6, maybe 8 adults, depending on how friendly and familiar with one another they are. And you might be wondering, where's the television? I'm sure you've probably figured out it's on a power lift televator. But listen to this thing. It actually comes with its own sound effects. And again, I may have added those sound effects. Now, in case you're curious, the upper deck here on both, well, actually, I wouldn't say both upper decks. The lower deck in the bedroom and the upper deck here both have a 6.5 foot height, which is nice. Montana's very good about making sure they always have that. Now, let's talk heating and cooling. So we have an electric space heating fireplace right here. That's 5,000, well, actually 5,120 BTUs if we're going to get real specific. And then up top here, in that first of two 15,000 BTU centralized air conditioners, you have a 16,500 BTU heat pump. Plus, this RV has electric holding tank heaters. Plus, it has the propane furnace system. So it really, frankly, kind of has like an electric and a propane heat system, which can be operated with one another simultaneously, which I think is pretty cool, which is one of the reasons that these things achieve some absolutely stellar hot-cold camp ratings. Now, in terms of hot camping, which is, I think, where we spend more of our time, they have recently enhanced and improved their air conditioning system. You see that little, the different face on that AC unit right there, and all those like vortex-looking vents, and the fact that there's more vents through the entire RV now. They came up with a new air system that isn't like what people would call whisper ducted in a traditional sense, but between the Coleman Q series, quiet series air conditioners that they're using, all of that ducting and the different, basically everything they did, they were able to get more cold air out of the ductwork down into the RV more quickly and more quietly. And I've been in these. You run those airs on just quiet mode, eco mode or whatever, they like, I'm talking louder than I need to standing here right now. My wife says, God, you talk loud. And she's not wrong. I'm not, I'm aware that I do it. I'm not aware that I do it when I'm doing it. You get the idea. Obviously, that theater seat right there has a removable pontoon style armrest, which is really nice if you want to get that out of the way. Now, in case you're curious, if you were going to ask, well, could I replace the window in the entry door for one with a like a viewing window and a privacy shade? Yeah, absolutely. They make stuff like that. Give us a call. There's that 12-volt vent fan one more time. And as we come down to the lower deck of this thing, it has one of my favorite features. It has a kitchen back door right there. And maybe it's just because the house I grew up in, we had, back door off the kitchen. That was the main entry door of the house. You came in the garage, you popped in that door back there. I love that feature. I love that thing. It just really speaks to me. And this is not carpet, by the way. Sometimes the pattern throws some people off, but that is not at all a carpeting material. So especially down here in the kitchen where we have food and drinks, you don't have to worry about that. Now you have two refrigerator choices. The default selection is a 18 cubic foot 18 cubic foot residential refrigerator with inverter. What we're looking at here is the optional sub-out two-way gas electric fridge freezer. We do typically stock our Montanas a little bit of both ways here. So if you're like, man, I love everything about this RV, but I don't like that fridge, give us a call. We might have one in stock with the residential fridge. There's just chances that. Not to mention all the other, we have similar floor plans like this from Heritage Glen, from Arctic Wolf, from a couple different brands, and they all do a couple things a little different. Montana tends to be the highest in terms of price point of those brands that I just mentioned. They will also tend to be the most heavily equipped and most luxuriously outfitted, or however you want to say it. And this kitchen, I'm going to say this several times in this video. Ooh, I forgot something. I always miss, yeah, baby, that little accent light right there. I love that. What was I going to get at? Montana uses this kitchen arrangement several times. Like, this is in the 281 CK. It's obviously here. They use it several different times. And I love it because when the kitchen cabinetry itself is not in a slide, it provides the opportunity for bigger cabinetry that is easier to access, although obviously you may need a step stool to get to some of that tall stuff. Frankly, even I would. And in case you're curious, that is one of those larger, I think about 22-inch ovens. And look at the backsplash and wraparound side splash. It's not just like a wallpaper. So many RV manufacturers, they seem to think that grease only goes backwards. Montana, their engineers seem to realize that grease can also move laterally. But what's really awesome about this, I'm actually going to step into the slide, which I can do because this is a 6.5 foot tall, like kitchen dining slide right here. So I can walk right in this thing, just like the upper deck, just like the lower bedroom, and never go noggin clocking, which sounds like the name maybe of some kind of Norwegian, like, I don't know, maybe like punk rock band, Noggin Clockin', something like that. Actually reminds me of this group I used to listen to when I was younger called Noggin Toboggan. Why am I talking about this? And I mean, the thing is, you also don't necessarily have to rely on just those high cabinets. You can pack them up heavy, but your daily use pantry stuff could just as easily go right here. And by the way, this is where your main command center is located. That's where you can, your slide awnings, your lights, your things like that, but also your holding tank heater switches and that 12 volt ceiling vent fan that we talked, the 12 volt ceiling fan next to the 12 volt ceiling vent fan. There we go. You actually have a 2-speed switch there for it. By the way, handy little outlet over here on the side of the little refrigerator housing in case you want to, power some stuff up. And have you noticed how those chairs are sitting? It's because there's no post down there blocking them. Case in point, there you go. You can see that is a no knee knocker, and you may also notice there is a little extension leaf that's kind of hidden in there that I don't have slid out. So it's a nice little couples sort of dining, but you can also expand that for family time. Once again, we have that kitchen, like back door, the hallway space right here. But one of the things they did I think is really cool. Maybe they did this last year. I don't recall, but they added their handy little Montana magnet holdback for that bathroom door right there. Which, I don't know, if you're just kind of bopping in and out of that back door, it's kind of handy to have that right there. Now, that is a sealed edge pressed membrane counter. The kitchen, you notice, was solid surface. Everything else in this, you'll find that nice thermal foil counter stuff. But because this shower is on the lower deck, and because the loft is behind it, they had to make this bathroom insanely tall. Now, I'm about to point you straight up, and sometimes that will make people a little bit motion sick, so kind of be advised. I want you to get to see this fan up here. That is actually an optional piece of equipment, which frankly really shocks me. I think a lot of people, and I thought this for years, thought that, I'm kicking stuff, that vent fan up there was actually a standard issue item on a Montana high country. It is on a full Monty, but on a high country that we're looking at, it is actually an optional item. But the headroom in the shower, the bigger vent fan, good leg room around here. The only thing this bathroom kind of lacks is a little bit of like towel storage. Now you can see how we've got some drawer space, some wastebasket space there. You have a couple Drunken Octopus coat hanger jobs over here if you want to hang a towel or a bathrobe or a dog leash by the back door or something like that. But because they had to steal from the bathroom to make this, instead of just like a ladder, like one of those wooden dowel rod ladders to get you up here into the loft, they actually built a staircase with double motion lighting, so if the kids have to bop up and down at night to use a potty, they can. They got something nice and solid here to hold on to. And you notice how you've got a little gate over here on the right, so that you don't have to worry about people falling out, rolling out of it, or anything like that. Now, once again, in its current format, yeah, it's just intended as a bunk loft sleeping space, guys. Oh my gosh, sorry about that. I didn't want to I'm right next to the microphone right here, so I'm trying not to shout like I normally do. And I didn't want to sneeze and blow your eardrums out, well, then you'd never have to listen to my advice again. Don't tell my wife, that's a life hack. A wife hack, oh wow. Anyway, but good headboard storage, and you see both sides of this thing have their own little household and USB plugs. So the question becomes, is it kid size, is it adult size, who can fit up here? And the answer, frankly, this is pretty groovy, baby. I mean, there's good space in here. Now, I'm not going to sit straight up. I would absolutely cold cock myself. Like, if somebody tasered you and you're sleeping up here, yeah, you're going to bang your head. But the good news is then you're going to go right back to sleep, right? What I'm getting at, though, is, a lot of loft spaces in RVs, if you're an adult, you're like, oh, God, trying to crawl through this thing. I don't have that problem here. And you know something else I need to show you that's not obvious from that angle? There's a TV hookup over here. So that's where we were. Obviously, I, didn't want to grind my shoes all over someone's bed mattresses. But that wall right over there, that is actually kind of like covering up the little staircase going down into the master bed. There's TV hookups there. So if you need to have like someone's own separate private little entertainment space, you can. Then again, you could always just use this as like a sweet storage attic or something like that. Or a combination. Oh, this would make a great cat house. Wait. Oh, no. I mean, when I say cat house, I mean like house cats. There we go. Not like, you know, welcome to Old Maze, Old Western Cat House. No, not that. Not that. Okay. Well, I already got the text. I have a meeting with HR in the morning. We'll see how that goes. That might be my last day recording video. So let's make it a good one, shall we? On the way down the steps, one of the things that's kind of cool is like from the ground level, depending on how tall or gravity friendly you are, you can just reach up here and be like, all right, night night kids, lights out. And then you're right down here. Now, in case you're wondering, there's a couple different air conditioner vents that will, funnel the cold air down here to this lower area. This, you're not going to be hotboxing yourself down here, which it actually kind of means something else. But hey, whatever. I'm going to get fired anyway, right? Standard on this would be a 60 by 80 queen. That being said, like everybody and their brother builds Montanas with a king bed, so this is the most common thing. Just like Big Full Monty, though, they added those elevated side stands in the bed right there with power outlets mounted in the slide box, which is hard to find. So whether it's, phone chargers or whatever, and you got those slide side breeze windows right there, it's a fully equipped bedroom. You step down into it. Now, taking a look here at all the various storage space, you see a nice big long trunk under the bed. The whole rear wall is a closet, which is very, very cool. Not to mention you have that dresser space straight across from the bed with that other breeze window. Now, the TV hookups are actually right next to the main entry door, which is a little bit unconventional, but I think it's just sort of like one of those necessary things on this floor plan. And you see that cabinet there. That is actually a cabinet under the steps to get to the loft space. And that is either storage or it is a combo washer dryer. This is one of the only members of the Montana family in any form that is not ready for a stackable washer dryer. It is combo-matic only. Now, something else I want to talk about. I can't believe I haven't run into this yet. There's a bunch of outlets in this RV that have these little yellow stickers. They're probably just tucked away a little bit. Anywhere you see those, that is actually an outlet that is looped to the inverter run. So this RV is prepped for an inverter, but Keystone also offers advanced solar packages, 2 available on this specific model, that have an inverter built in, either 2,000 or even a 3,000 watt hybrid inverter. Now, road mode travel and access on this one's a little different. One of the things here, you've got those free-floating kitchen stools. Holy cow, wow. Smoke coming out of my ears. Forgot the word stools. There's actually, you can sort of see it dangling down there, a little nylon buckle strap where you can throw those 2 stools on that sofa and then strap it down in place. I really recommend putting a pillow between them. Alternatively, you can kind of do what I've done here, is just sort of set them on the floor and put a pillow on them there. But, there's a couple different ways you could go about it. Either way, I just really recommend a little extra padding so stuff doesn't get banged around, Now, one of the other reasons I really like the fact that even though we have a slide on the kitchen level, the kitchen itself is fixed and does not slide. And actually, this is a much better view of the storage under that counter right there. How about that? It means this is an extremely travel-friendly floor plan right here, or storage-friendly. Like if you just need to get into it and pack it up, unpack it. You can easily walk around that big peninsula countertop and get to all the storage space here. But, obviously, we're not getting back into the hallway. But remember that wacky back door? Well, that crazy wacky back door over here, that gets us past that kitchen slide. And I get that you have to go in, out, up, down, around, put your hands on your hips, knees in, do the time warp again. But the fact is, if you need to get back here and you need to get to the loft, you need to get to the master bedroom, this RV, despite its size, despite all the slides, despite all those things, is shockingly travel accessible. But I got a little pro tip here for you, especially if you go with the king bed instead of the queen, which about 99% of people do. you kind of have to lift that mattress up to open the door. Now, you can do it. My fat butt got through there and did it. But remember, there's a magnet holdback on that door right there. It absolutely will not hurt this thing to ride with that door open going down the road. It'll work out just fine. Sorry, I'm just laughing. Before I started recording out here, we have a newer salesperson who has not seen many of the different offerings that we have available here at Hitch, like this big, beautiful Montana. And he walked out here and he looked at this thing just from the broadside, just goes, oh my, this thing's a monster. I'm like, I know, it's so cool. Now, between the length, the size, the weight, the hitch weight, this is something you're probably going to want to be in, more than likely, at least a 1-ton truck, and you wouldn't regret having a dually if you're going to tow it with regularity. This is not made to be an ultralight. It's, like I said, about 13,500 pounds. She's a pretty good-sized girl. She's got a lot of decent heft to her. Now, we've got a 6-point automatic leveling system, and, like, all the nice little Montana touches. Like, the auto leveling controls are outside in their own little compartments, so you don't have to, like, open compartments and move your cargo to shift stuff to get to stuff. Got the handy little sewer hose tube, although somebody opened the caps on that. Why would anybody do that? Who did that? Someone must have done that while I was inside. Who would even do that? Why? I'm just trying to picture. I just wanted to see what color the sewer hose was. Carry on. Like, I'm trying to wrap my head around this, neither here nor there. The docking station, of course, sometimes called a wet bay, all enclosed, protected. Forced air heated off the backside of that. Now, the one thing that kind of limits, like, front living rooms, because you only have one room up front, is they kind of suffer in terms of pass-through storage. But that is actually one of the things this floor plan compensates for, I think, very, very nicely. Under the rear closet, they include another little outdoor storage trunk, and this is all mounted down here in the drop frame section, so it's like at waist level. It's very easy to get to. And then another one under the headboard area of the bed before we get ourselves back up there to the other side of the front pass-through. So even though that compartment is a little smaller than what you typically find on most big fifth wheels, Montana's included, certainly, they came up with some crafty, creative ways to make sure that you're not missing out overall. Now, just to give you an idea of what other things might be available to you, you can outfit these from the factory with slide awnings. Oddly, on high country Montanas, we don't get a lot of requests for that, whereas on full Monties, we have a lot of requests for it. I don't know, it's just one of them things. Now remember, I said I am a fan of the fact we do not have a kitchen slide out on the door side of the RV, and this is why right here. Because it allows you to maintain a really awesome patio space on this thing. And again, being fair, with some slides over here on the door side, like this is a model I think is really well suited to park life, but if you're going to build like a deck up to it or something like that, you're going to have to be aware of the fact that you have this slide over here at like, ground level effectively. Now, we are riding on Saloon radial tires, and the shock dampening suspension system here. You got that Road Armor pin box and suspension combo, which you're going to be glad you got because this is a big rig. And those tires are 75 mile an hour rated, by the way. Interesting note on Saloons, they actually have 2 more years of warranty, even as compared to Goodyear Endurance. That is not a cheap tire. That is not a bad tire. I'm a member of, I think, 4 different Montana owner forums, and at least once a month, somebody says, hey, I just bought a used Montana. I'm going to get the tires replaced. What should I get? And that is like one of the only groups I see people going, Saloons. These tires are great. We travel all the time. Now, back to this baggage compartment. Something I forgot to show you. It's got a magnet holdback, but it latches in place. You actually have to disengage the latch. And normally I don't accidentally fling it down like that, but I'm operating one-handed and I'm not left-handed, so I'm not very good at that. And it's a good thing that that bedroom side window right there has a privacy shade. Otherwise, the neighbors may spy you, how can I say this? Aggressively folding laundry in bed. And we're going to move on from there. Now, I told you I would share some points of concern as when we began here, but my intro ran, long, and I know that I can talk a long time. You see how tall the rear wall of this thing is. It's because this has a front drop frame as well as a rear drop frame, which is a very uncommon thing. The trick is, that means the tail of this thing hangs down low. And that is one thing I really want you to be aware of before diving into something of this size. This is the kind of RV that is awesome for flatland travel or just getting somewhere and parking it. If you got a steep driveway, you're going to be dragging the tail of this thing the way my dog drags his butt across the carpet sometimes. And even here in our driveway right next to our storm drain, I have seen people with this model actually, you know, kiss the ground a little bit in the back. I've actually seen some people add roller casters to the back of this thing just because. Now, keep in mind, as we're looking at this, the nose of the RV is actually up. The RV is not leveled, so the tail is down a little further than normal, but I mean, it does dip down there. I mean, you have to do that to get that drop frame rear bedroom back there so that you have at least a decent walkable headspace in that thing. I know that I've talked about that a long time, but I don't want somebody buying this thing, not thinking about it. Maybe it's your first RV. Maybe you're not used to having a drop frame rear RV. I don't want you smashing this thing or damaging your property or anything like that and then giving us a call and say, man, what do I do? By then it's too late. By then you own it. Let's have the discussion now. Let's make sure we're getting you the right one. And that's the kind of time, attention, and detail that you're going to get from our outfitters. I was just about to climb that ladder. And the gloss on that skin. I mean, that is a mirror-like finish. That is good looking. This thing, man, when you get up here on the roof, because it doesn't really taper down in the back, when you get up top, it just, I mean, it just looks like like you're landing on an aircraft carrier. It's like this thing is long up here, the USS Battleship Montana, as it were. Now, both the kitchen and the bathroom have those nicer vent fans. Remember, we've optioned that onto this one in the bathroom, but we try to do that in all the high countries that we can. It's kind of gooped up, it's kind of covered up a little bit, but this housing does have little ears that stick up, so if you want to add like the little vent cover or something like that, you can do that without needing to screw into any of the construction and mess anything up. Now, talking about adding things, modifying factory construction, which most of the time will avoid affected areas of the RV in terms of warranty aspect. Manufacturers don't cover work they don't do, but Keystone made an exception. So what we're looking at here, that's their 200-watt solar panel on the SolarFlex 200 package, the most basic solar package they have. On this RV, we could add a second panel right next to that thing. We get the parts from Keystone. We're an authorized Keystone service center. We can do that here without voiding any aspects of any warranties on your Keystone. That is very, very cool. Now, the other thing here is, again, we have a lot of real estate on this thing. So if you get the SolarFlex 400 or 600 packages and then decide you want to expand those to 800 or up to 1200 watts of solar, depending on how crazy you get, you have all the room in the world to do this. Like, there's so many floor plans. Like, look at that wolf pup. I don't know what it is about a wolf pup. I get so many comments on wolf pups here at Haylett RV, or someone's like, this is ridiculous. There's no way you can get by on that with less than 1200 watts of solar. And that's a literal verbatim comment that I get with weird regularity, specifically on wolf pups. Well, there's not enough physical space on those little single axle campers to pull that off. But the USS Montana battleship, you got room for all that and room to spare. So let me know what you think of this one and how would you use it? Because like I said, to me, it really feels like a park model. And by that, I don't mean like a park model. Like a model you're just going to get somewhere and leave it parked pretty much all the time. It's begging for a seasonal site. That's just my opinion, though. I know plenty of people that tow things like this around all the time. I saw one rolling through here the other day, stopped to pick up toilet paper. They were back on the highway and rolling their way down the road. There's no one way to use stuff like this, but I'd love to hear from you. How would you go about it? And if you like the fair and decent way that we go about things, make sure you hit that subscribe button to catch us on the next one. And short of that, guys, really appreciate all the support you offer us. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.